What's up, guys? Kirk Gibson here. Today, I'm going to talk about the USA versus Japan men's final in the World Championship. It was not a great game, but I'm here to talk not about the game, but specifically Japan. I was a part of the 2016 World Championship men's game when the U.S. played Japan, so this was a rematch of the last World Championship. We won 15-11 in what many consider that being the greatest game of Ultimate ever played. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. It's a great watch, very exciting. I don't think people thought that this was going to be as close as that was. Japan was shaky all tournament, and frankly, we're a little lucky to be in the final. That being said, I think they're a talented team. They have good athletes. Matsuhiro Matsuno is older, but he's still an amazing player. Certainly one of the best international players to ever play, perhaps even just overall in the sport. But regardless, he's well known, great player, and they still have some of those players on the roster. But for whatever reason, I mean, they went down 5-0 in this game. I mean, it was bad from the start. So there's a lot of things wrong, but to me, and I'm going to show you guys, they just weren't doing some of the little things right. So we're just going to start off by watching the U.S., their offense, okay? They're pretty handler dominated, but I'm just going to play this here for you guys. So you're going to see Chris Kotcher is going to catch it here. Johnny Malk's going to cut up line, okay? So it's a tight little up line throw. Just watch Chris right here. He's going to catch it right up there. And then you're going to see, again, Johnny Malk's just going to go up, catch it up the line. Somebody shoots, and he hucks it. So pretty straightforward, just basically handler-driven offense. And Chris Kotcher, one of the best players in the game. Johnny Malks is fast, too. I mean, Chris Kotcher's fast. He's very quick. Johnny Malks is fast, too. But what they just did is nothing that I don't think Japan can do. They're known for being pretty speedy and quick and agile. They are difficult to guard, especially in the handler spot. But in my opinion, they don't seem to be using their skills, their best skills, to their advantage, and I'll show you. Okay, so this is Japan's first offensive point, and you're going to see why I don't think that they had a good strategy for this game. They're playing to their strengths. Now, if you watch the 2016 game, Japan is known for hucking, kind of using quick break space to get off kind of some bladey hucks, and in the 2016 game, it wasn't very windy at all, so they could get those off. And Ian Toner, one of the announcers, specifically said when he talked to the Japanese team, the coach, they said they're going to stick to their style. If they do that, they will have success. And they admitted that in the 2016 final, as the game went on, they got nervous. Okay, so they're saying if they stick to their style, they will have success. So Japan definitely plays a unique style, and it has certainly worked for them. So I don't want to take away any success. But I think that they can improve upon that. And perhaps nerves played a role here in this game. But I'm not sure if they really had the best strategy. And here's why. It's quite windy. There's a crosswind coming from the right side of your screen over here, all the way over here. But you're going to see that they basically have the same strategy of trying to get off hucks and sneak them off. But in general, the Americans are taller. They're also pretty fast. And if you miss, you're going to be in trouble. So this is Japan's first 0 point. So we're just going to kind of play this real quick here. Matsuno is right here, number 10 with the white hat. So immediately the pass goes off to him, takes off, and it's a high pass. You can see that just floating way to the right. The wind is coming. So, okay, you tried to sneak one out. Japan probably went into the game thinking, hey, we are outmatched. The USA is better overall. We're going to have to sneak some in and maybe catch a few breaks here and there to keep it close all the way through. Okay, so you throw it. Wasn't very close. So what happens next? Okay, so they get the disc back. The U.S. turns it, so I'm just going to play it, and you're going to see these guys aren't moving too much. They're just going to trying to get some space, so they're kind of swinging it back and forth here, looking for something on the break side. Nothing there. This guy throws it, and so he's going to catch it. Okay, boom. Now he looks for this guy and hucks it, and go straight out of bounds to 3 U.S. defenders. So I just want to let's just re-look at that one more time, because I mean, this just like isn't even close. This guy is just looking to see if he's going to throw it. He's not even cutting full speed. You got this guy over here guarding Matsuno, just staring right at it. And then as he throws it, he's also looking. They just leave this wide open. So here it would have been great to throw a fake and then get the guy coming on the under. But, I mean, you just hucked one away. Why go for that huck right away? And, again, I think you could say that Japan was just trying to sneak one out, but you just turned one, you got it back, work it down the field. You're gonna have to use energy, you're gonna have to use your legs, but don't throw another one away. And this is kind of the beginning of the end for Japan right here already. You gotta be able to work it and make smart passes. Okay, so Japan turned it twice on their first point. Surely they've learned their lesson. They're going to rein it in, try to work it better. So let's see what they do. So they've had a few passes here. The guy lasers it. That was a total A. We'll talk about that here in a second. That sneaks through. Matsuno again. High flick. Does not work out to, again, a very good defender. Yeah. So, again, hucks it. Did they need that? They were kind of off to the races. Again, I don't think they needed that. Okay, they've been broken 3 times in a row. Surely they'll do something different instead of hucking it. They've had 4 turnovers, all on hucks. Let's see. This is the first pass. This is the dealer here. What does he do? I want you to watch 24 right here. Takes out. Does not even have steps. Randolph is still ahead of him. I mean, he's very fast, the jet. And he's already looking like he's throwing that. So he's throwing that, and they're basically even. Randolph's not very tall, but he's a strong guy. He's thick, like fat, and he's fast. Like, he's a good defender. Great, just a very good defender. And he throws it up, and it wasn't a good throw. So again, I'm not sure what Japan was thinking. Just praying. Their strategy didn't make sense to me. All right, so I showed you some of the first pass early hucks that got Japan into this hole, but one of the other things I noticed was them missing open guys, and it was a little unclear. I mean, every team and everybody misses players sometimes. It happens, but they just seem to be doing it at a higher rate because they were looking for these flick IO breaks, which were much more difficult than kind of the taking the easier throw. And so I'll show you a couple of those of just some misses that they had. So here's just an example. You're going to watch this guy, number 3. He's going to curl around. So the thrower here's looking. Throughout this point, he's going to do this a couple of times, but he's looking for the IO flick, which can be a very lethal type throw, but at the cost of, watch this. So he turns around, so okay, fine, he misses that. But then he turns back, looking straight across. He's not looking upfield at an open player. Especially at this level, you got to keep your head on a swivel, constantly looking. You can process a lot. If you're a new player, certainly, hey, focus on the dump, look upfield. You're a little more deliberate with where you're throwing, so you don't get a little too excited and make an errant throw. But at this level, you need to be able to process the whole field much more quickly and not miss some of these. I mean, they've been struggling moving the disc, and if you're only looking break, you're going to be missing some opportunities. So this guy ends up being open for a while, totally misses them, and throws a laser inside-out flick. So ends up working out. They get the D, they get complete the pass, but you're going to see that more often, and I'll show you. Okay, so this is just a little later in the point. You're going to see the same guy get it, and I'm not trying to pick on him. I'm just using this as an example. This guy right here takes off deep. He doesn't throw a fake. This is an opportunity you've been hucking it the whole game, throw a fake, but he doesn't even acknowledge it. He just kind of says, forget it, because what he could have done is if he's throwing a fake at this point, this defender on the right side of your screen may have bit then leaving, but he doesn't because he says, all right, he's not even looking. So now I'm just going to play the under with my man here. And, that could have been a potential 25-yard gainer, right? But no fakes. It was just kind of sitting there on that inside. So you're going to see that more. Like he's kind of just looking for it. This guy was open, should have been moving a little towards him, giving him a little something. But again, just kind of a miss. I'm not sure what he was looking at. Those are dumb, which is fine. Okay, here's another missed opportunity. Same thrower. This is a throw you got to make here. The wind's coming off here. A flick throw here to space is not that difficult, especially at this level. He's got the space. Throw that out there. Give him a chance. It's better than anything that you've had before, and it's certainly better than looking at this giant open space and the wind's coming from the top part of your screen down. That's a challenging throw. So he's got him open still. So he's just trying to look at the hardest throw on the field. And then, again, here's another one. Looks for briefly, misses this guy right here, cutting the break side into the wind. That would have been a great opportunity. So just a missed throw. Here's just one other thing. I'm not trying to pick on this guy, I swear. So Matsuno gets it. He's open right now. This guy slows up because it wasn't his guy. And throw that. He should have that in your flick grip. Get an extra 5 yards, but instead kind of waits till he gets close, and it ends up being a 4-yard gainer. So it's those little things that you just got to be aware of. And at the end of the day, I say hit the open guy. Don't look for the hardest throw. I know they're down 5-0, so they're looking for kind of a lethal throw to escape one, but that's what takes you out of your game plan. All right, here's another example that Japan doesn't seem to utilize the break side as much as certainly I can speak for the U.S., but I would say most teams. And here's just, again, example is the same point, but you're going to watch 24 right here. So right here, okay, there's no dump. This guy's kind of isolated. It looks like he's kind of going in kind of back and forth. But if I was this guy right here, this guy is playing pretty far off. I'd either make a cut like this and go over here or just go straight over here, or this guy could do it. I mean, any one of these guys, but this mark is not close. Nobody's really pushing that. I know this guy's looking for the inside flick. He pretty much has it, right? So now this guy looks like that's Eli, just gets a little closer, but I mean, this needs to be going. Right, so he does miss this guy here, but, I mean, everybody's so far away. Somebody's got to fill this one in the stack, probably this guy, and give him, this is the upwind. If you throw a space shot, it should be able to sit, but this guy's too far away and looking for the inside flick and then stop. So now he finally goes, and he misses it. So just something to think about. I'm not sure why Japan doesn't seem to kind of run that same type of offense that the U.S. I shouldn't say the U.S. does, but it seems to me intuitive, but for Japan, they have such a different style. But for me, it seems like they're missing opportunities to break it and take advantage of the space that the defense is giving them on the field. Okay, so one of the other things about Japan is, so they would rifle some of their players in particular. Number 8 is one of them. Would rifle some of their flicks, kind of, especially on the upwind side. I've seen other teams do that before. Some of the Canadian players from Furious George did that in the Sarasota days 15, 20 years ago, really rifling passes in. So it's more a matter of style and whatnot. And what you're comfortable with, but we're just going to watch this guy right here. He's going to rifle one right up here. Boom, that's a rifle in a windy condition. He's going to do it again. So he's going to get it. You can see that he's waving the guys off so he can get that pass off. Oops. So he's going to get it here. And watch. I think that's Matsuno over there. Yep. Rifles it another one. Very, very, very quick. But, he's throwing it to one of the best players in the world. And we're going to see. All right, so he gets it right there and watch, rifles it. I mean, full speed, and that was not Matsuno, but regardless, yeah, could have caught it, but that's just a dangerous play. And there's just not a lot of movement on that Japanese offense. I mean, look how hard that full speed, it was behind him. Just a tough catch. And when you're moving, Japan had broken the U.S. for the first time all tournament and throws that. And yeah, it could have been caught. The defender didn't D it, but just so difficult. Okay, this is an example. Great view. Love the drone footage. But this is an example of what Japan did well. They're on the goal line here, but they work it nicely. And so you're going to see, gets the dump off. No movement just yet. Gets this. Okay, so the guy immediately cups the line, gets the movement, right? And then you can see this guy right here cutting immediately for the break. Smart. Doesn't get it. Both were open. Personally, again, I'm being a little critical here, but this guy doesn't throw it. You saw that. I go back to the first point of the game on the U.S. They threw those tight upline passes to get momentum, just get a few extra yards. They make a difference, and this guy's not able to get this one off where the direction he's looking. He's got the space, but he also doesn't get this one off. Like, this was open too to get a swing. So, it's unfortunate he didn't get those off. You're going to see that it ends up working out. So the DeMarc moves over. The one stays engaged, realizes that he's able to get the pass off, and then this is what they should have. In my opinion, I love this cut, and I feel like the Japanese should have done this more, is this up line. The U.S. was forcing backhand a lot. This kind of like cheeky little backhand kind of foreside, but that's just a tough one. I thought they could have done that more, but they just weren't making those types of cuts. And yeah, to me, that was a missed opportunity. Okay, here's another example of Japan playing good along the goal line. And this is what I think they should have been doing the whole game instead of, pushing all those hucks. So Matsuno's got the disc right here. And you're just going to watch. They have good movement here. So he cuts break, doesn't get it, comes straight back across. Looks like something Chris Kotra would have done. Great cut. All right, gets it to Matsuno. He's got space on the break. This guy's cutting. He stops. I probably would have continued just to give him a look. So this guy goes, doesn't get it. Okay. And look at that. Cheeky little inside out. This is the key that I think Japan should do a lot more. I'm not sure why, because I think they've got the personnel to do it well. So just watch Matsuno. He's a lefty. He's got this backhand. You can see him, watch, this is the little tiny little thing. He's looking at Matsuno because AJ's face guarding. I'd probably be in the exact same spot. And although this is where knowing if it's a lefty, you probably want to shade just a little farther up and knowing it's Matsuno, he's going to want to do that. But watch, you can just see them setting up the cut. Where do you want it? Okay, what are we going to do? Oh, and then he just kind of does a little juke, fakes out AJ. And then he misses this throw, but I actually like it. I think you just got to make this throw. I mean, it was perfect. He had it, just a little soft backhand. He threw it a little with too much snap. It was into the wind a little bit, makes it a little harder, but you got to throw that soft and into the wind. Just let the receiver run out onto it, and it's just unfortunate he just threw it. He tried to throw it to him perfectly in stride, but anyways, I liked their offense. Even though they didn't score on this possession, I liked their offense. I like that cheeky kind of backhand into that little space. They're good at that. And if they can hit those breaks, then they can be off to the races. So it's after halftime. This game kind of gets even more out of hand. But I point those out because I just feel, Japan is such a great program. They've been good for so long. And I think they would probably admit that they underperformed at this Worlds. And I see more potential in them. And so I share this because I think, it would be great for the sport to see more teams be able to compete with the U.S. in this tournament on the men's side specifically. And Japan in particular, it seems to me that they weren't taking advantage of some of the things that they're good at, some of that quick handler movement. and focusing and relying too much on the huck in these windy conditions. You got to be able to adapt, especially in these big game situations when the pressure's on. But Japan wasn't able to do that. They forced those hucks, stuck to what I assumed is their game plan, and didn't turn out too well for them. So I hope to see them back. I hope to see them maybe adapt, to learn something, change their strategy perhaps on the world stage, and we will see. We'll probably have to wait another 4 years to see that, but we may be able to see at the World Club Championships in 2 years with Buzz Bullets. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know in the comments if you want to see any other types of videos. Thanks for watching. God bless.